I knew it was coming! Let's watch Julianne Hough's Eats in a Day with Harper's Bazaar. Now, this is from 2 years ago, but a bunch of you tagged me in it, so I thought we'd do it anyway.
The minute I wake up in the morning, the first thing that I do when I open my eyes, I drink my lemon water that I prepped the night before. And that usually consists of lukewarm temperatured water with a half a lemon and sitting overnight, really getting all those juices flushed out in there. And the reason why I take it first thing in the morning is we've just been laying down, we're sleeping, and anything that was kind of left residue from the night before, I can take that lemon water and feel like I'm cleaning my system out.
It's kind of what she's implying with the lemon water. We've been lying down all night. You know, if you're sleeping, I hope that is how you're sleeping, is horizontal. She does say that the lemon water is cleaning out her system. We've talked about this multiple times. There isn't anything that you can ingest that is going to clean out the system. It is your body that does that for free. But if you like lemon water, if you like the taste of lemon water, have at it. It's the narrative around the lemon water that really gets me.
Then it kind of depends on what my morning routine looks like as far as my exercise, my breathwork, my meditation. But usually I find a way to either do some sort of celery juice or something that also gives me a little bit of sugar before I go do a quick workout. Or I'll do like amino acids or something like that to just give me that support, that energy that I'm looking for.
Prior to working out, we all have different wants and needs. Some people like to exercise without any fuel in the tank. Some people like to have a little something in the tank, which is me. I typically will have a couple of dates before I exercise, and that's going to give me some energy before I work out. And I tend to work out quite early in the morning, so I don't like a full meal. And some people like a full meal before they exercise, and that helps them fuel their workout. What I found interesting there is that Julianne's narrative of I need some energy before I exercise, therefore I'm going to have a celery juice. I would go for something a bit more carb heavy than a celery juice. Banana, dates, each to their own. If that works for Julianne, that's cool. I just need a little bit more of a boost, if you feel me. I also just really like dates.
I'm technically not supposed to have coffee, so it is like a special treat for me if I do have coffee. So in return, I will do a matcha tea or matcha latte. That's sort of my other cozy favorite. Otherwise, I try to stick to herbal teas, and that's always really helpful throughout the day.
Most celebrities, they talk about needing that coffee when they wake up. Everybody has their own morning ritual. My thing is, I like to get up, I have a green tea, then I have a decaf, because story time, back when I was a flight attendant, we used to do this awful thing. Don't do this. To try and stay awake on specifically long flights, we used to mix coffee granules with actual Coke. And in my heyday, I was having close to like 9 cups of coffee a day. Now, this was at-home coffee. It wasn't coffee shop coffee, but still, that's a lot of coffee. I did have to stop having coffee. She just took it too far. So I can actually relate to Julianne Hough here. I don't drink coffee. I do like decaf, and I'm aware there's a bit of caffeine in that. But I actually only just had my first matcha the other day. Kind of loved it.
So after my first half of my workday and I'm ready for lunch.
Did we actually see a breakfast? We didn't actually see a breakfast, but whilst I am like queen of breakfast, will not miss a meal over here, she didn't actually specifically mention intermittent fasting. She just kind of said, this is what I have in the morning. So I actually appreciate that Julianne, whilst we got ever so close to some dodgy lemon water narrative, so she just took us through what she has in the morning.
I love soup, so I will usually make a lot and freeze it so that I can have it throughout the week. I'm really big on variation, so I don't eat the same thing every day, but today I'm going to have a butternut squash soup with carrot, and this is like the Ayurvedic way, so all plant-based and vegan. For my salad, I'm going to keep it really fresh with some asparagus, broccolini, some beets, watermelon radishes with some ginger on top over a bed of spinach. If I'm lucky, I'll find some sort of like gluten-free cracker. And by the way, I sound so LA right now with all this gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, but it's because my body needs it, because trust me, do I love flour, I love sugar, I love cookies, I love all the things, but I'm really just trying to focus on my health from the inside out.
For her lunch, I love how she was talking about meal prepping, actually, but in not a very regimented diety fashion. Meal prepping doesn't have to be in a diety fashion. It can actually be in a self-care way. Prepping for a busy day, we're making sure that we're going to have a meal ready on a day where we finish work late, etc. So I actually like how she was talking in quite a relatable fashion about bulk making soup and then freezing some and having it later on. Eva mentioned having variety, not eating the same thing every day, which is something we've seen many celebrities do. Julianne Hough mentioned not including gluten, dairy, being vegan, etc. Again, that's one's choice if that's what one wants to do. And she didn't necessarily demonize flour, sugar, cookies, but what she did say was, I love all the things, but I'm just trying to really focus on my health from the inside out. there's quite a narrow perception there on what is healthy. Ignoring any allergies we might have, whether it's celiac, lactose intolerant, etc. Ignoring that for the time being. If one is just cutting out these foods in the name of health, it's not necessarily always healthy to cut these things out. Like I said, probably want to be cutting out foods that we have an allergy or an intolerance to. But if we're just cutting out certain types of food because we think it's healthier, not necessarily. Like I've talked about many times, when I was at what society would call my healthiest, and I'm using quotation marks because I wasn't healthy, spoiler alert, I wasn't healthy. What society deems as healthy, for example, cutting out cookies or sugar, etc., may not always be the case. Actually, what would have been healthier for me back then when I was cutting out sugar, carbs, etc., was actually having a cookie, having some cake, eating the pizza. Whilst this kind of narrative of sugar is bad, cut out cookies, etc. is very common, it doesn't mean that it's always the healthiest or the best option.
All right, dinner time. So I have this mung dal that I've prepared.
I love a dal. I'm not gonna lie. I make a really mean dal. It's about the only thing I can cook.
Some free crackers, some toasted black sesame seeds, and then of course I'm going to make some sides as well. So we've got sweet potato, asparagus, some ginger, collard greens, Swiss chard, spinach.
We saw macronutrients, micronutrients, clearly tell that she really enjoys this type of food, and despite it being plant-based, she's not ramming it down our throats that we should all be plant-based. It's just seemingly the choice that Julianne has made.
But one of the things that I do love, making sure that I'm still having pleasure with my food throughout the day, and that's when I either choose to have a glass of wine or a cocktail. Speaking of, this is one of my favorite wines. It's my wine with my best friend Nina, so, you know, shameless plug.
I knew it was coming! I could have put money on this. So Julianne Hough, she has a wine brand called Fresh Vine Wine with Nina Dobrev. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that name wrong. Fresh Vine Wine is a unique collection of bold, crisp, flavorful wines that embody a deeper connection with active lifestyles. This collection of exceptional tasting, low-calorie, low-sugar wines is designed to complement the work you've put in without the sacrifice. On the one hand, I really like that Julianne Hough is talking about incorporating alcohol and having a glass of wine, having cocktails with friends, etc. And it was a very non-subtle segue into her own brand, which is this Fresh Vine Wine. It's almost like quite a subtle narrative around the wine, which is that you don't have to quote-unquote sacrifice, but just choose this wine instead. And there's something within that that feels a bit icky to me, that make the better choice, which is Julianne Hough and Nina's wine, and any other choice of wine is not a good choice. And if you like this kind of type of wine, cool, have at it, enjoy it. I just personally like a full-bodied, tasty, juicy Cabernet. Please and thank you. And I don't want to feel shame about choosing the wine that I like because a celebrity has backed this type of wine and is implying that this wine is a better wine and this is the one I should choose. You know?
If I could give you any words of encouragement with what you eat, it's enjoy yourself, everything in moderation, and if you love your body and you love what you're putting into your body's gonna know. So if you're already telling yourself, oh, I shouldn't be eating this, and then your body's gonna have that stress to hold on to it. So if you're gonna do something, if you're gonna drink, if you're gonna have a yummy sweet tooth, then enjoy it. Like, take the pleasure in it.
Peaks and troughs. We saw a really nice variety of foods that Julianne was showing us, and they happened to be vegan, but it didn't feel like Julianne Hough was telling us that that's what we should do as well. We should be vegan, we should be gluten-free, etc. Julianne did really have this narrative of enjoy your foods, enjoy the choices you're making, and that was really nice to see. Unsurprisingly, a shameless plug of her own wine company. Whilst she mentioned like not making sacrifices, the narrative around it was don't make sacrifices, have my type of wine. However, if you're kind of encouraging me to not have my favorite type of wine and you think I should have yours instead, it kind of feels like a sacrifice to me because I just want the wine that I want. Just like a little sprinkly sprue of diet culture in there. And I actually really appreciate that Julianne loves the dal as much as I do. I wonder if her dal's as good as mine, because really, I make quite a good dal. My mother-in-law even said so.